name is Pat Klein, and I live here at Vitalia Montrose. Today I'm going to read you a book. It's part of the Little People Big Dreams series, Vanessa Nakate, and it was written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vergara. In the African city of Kampala, the capital of Uganda, lived a little girl called Vanessa. She was the eldest of 5 siblings. Her parents always encouraged her to do what she thought was right and to raise her voice for a good cause. When she grew up, Vanessa went to school in the countryside. The only time that her teacher talked to the class about climate change, it seemed like it was a problem on the other side of the world. But at college, Vanessa started noticing how floods and droughts destroyed crops, leaving families with nothing to eat. Africans were the least responsible for climate change, yet they were suffering the most. Luckily, all over the world, millions of children were striking against climate change. So Vanessa convinced her siblings and cousins to join them too. And even though no one paid much attention to them on the first day they protested, she didn't give up. 2 weeks later, she became the first child in her family to graduate from college, making her parents very proud. Still, all her aunties could think about was finding a fiancé for her and planning a wedding. Whether she was alone or accompanied by friends, Vanessa continued with her weekly strikes. She raised her voice against the destruction of the Congolian rainforest, home to many people and animals. One day, she received an invitation to visit New York City and join other young climate activists on a mission to convince world leaders to act against global warming. No one in her family had ever traveled that far before. Vanessa made friends, attended meetings, and even joined a massive climate march. Yet somehow, she still felt alone. She was one of the few African activists there, and not much was said about how global warming was affecting her continent. Back home, there was a lot of work to do. Vanessa organized cleanups, talked to students about global warming, wrote an open letter to Uganda's president, and started a project to bring eco-friendly stoves and solar energy to schools. Vanessa joined a handful of activists at a protest in Switzerland. She thought it would give her a chance to share her story, but after checking the news, Vanessa realized that her words had been left out and her image had been removed from a photograph. She felt like her whole continent had been erased from the conversation about global warming. But instead of giving up and going back home quietly, Vanessa decided to speak up about being ignored. And this time, the world listened. From that day on, her words sounded louder than ever. She signed articles, took part in lectures, and wrote a book about being a climate activist. Soon, she was recognized as one of the most influential young Africans of the year. And today, little Vanessa is not just a strong voice against climate change in her continent, she's also an inspiration to girls who dream of leading Africa and the whole of our planet to a brighter future.